this is Kathy with Duality Unfolding. So I have a card reading for you guys where you just get to pick whatever you want your reading to be. So this is kind of a pick your reading, pick a card, pick all the things reading. So you will see there's a question on each of these cards, or a statement or a prompt essentially. And so that's what each reading will be about. So group number 1, if you choose this reading, the question will be, how will my situation change if blank happens? So if there's something that you want to get a reading on, you essentially will fill in the blank. So how will my situation change if, this thing happens? So like this thing for you could be like changing jobs, or starting something new, or starting a habit, or ending something. So this one is, obviously these are all general readings, but this one you can pick to ask the cards like, how will my situation change if fill in the blank happens. Group number 2, your prompt is, how can I cultivate more structure and stability in my life? Group 3, your prompt is, what is the romantic potential of this relationship? And group 4, your reading is going to be on 2 different things. So I pulled cards to find out what it is that you need to embrace and what it is that you need to let go, because these are obviously 2 very different energies, right? Like one's holding on, one is releasing. So as you can see, I have cards turned in different directions. So I've got 3 cards for what to embrace and then 3 cards for what to let go. I wanted to do something a little bit different. Also, I just got these little... they're called Tarot's little sidekick cards, and I thought it would just be fun to, do a reading based on whatever cards came out. So when I shuffled these little cards, I shuffled them on top of the deck for each group. So kind of asking like, this first deck, this Apparition Spirit Speak Tarot, like, what would you like to do a reading on? And like the Erenberg Tarot, what would you like to do a reading on? And this is the Osho Zen Tarot, and then this is the Instarot. So I feel like this is kind of a fun reading because you can watch all of them if you want, or you can, pick and choose which ones you want. Like if you are only interested in a love reading, or if you have a very specific thing that you want to know about, or if you are just kind of open and you just want to pick something. So, these are your options. The timestamps are below. And as always, thank you so much for letting me read your cards, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the readings. Hello, group number 1. So if you chose the little sidekick card, how will my situation change if blank happens? This is going to be your reading. So you will essentially be asking the question yourself, right? Like you'll be asking the universe to answer the question of, how will my situation change if whatever you choose happens? So I've got 5 tarot cards and 1 oracle card here. So let's take a look at these cards. So we've got 10 of Wands, Ace of Wands, 10 of Cups, 9 of Cups. I might move this little guy over here. And Queen of Cups. Okay. So this first card, 10 of Wands, whatever the situation is that you're asking about, like the thing that I'm getting is that really the focus is that like you're doing too much. So we've got this person, there's this 10 candles that are lit, but there's tears, right, going into each candle. And so they're on the phone. Obviously they look very tired, or maybe there's something that's really difficult that they're going through. And 10 of Wands is really a card that comes in when we're doing too much. So this situation that you're asking about, you might be doing too much in that situation right now, or that situation might be asking too much of you, because we've got this phone call, right? Someone is reaching out to this person, and the person's response is these tears. It's like putting out all the fire. So this might be something that is requiring you to like burn the candle at both ends. This might be something that like... For some of you, I feel like this might be a situation where you feel like you don't have a choice, right? That there's times that like we have to put on our big girl or big boy pants and just, kind of go out in the world and do the things that we have to do, because in some ways we don't have a choice. And I want to remind you that, like, in this situation, you might feel like you don't have a choice. And that might be valid and true, but there are other areas of your life that you do have control and you do have choice in, and sometimes it can be hard when we're in one situation that feels really difficult and really draining, and then also having other things that we need to do. And so it feels like whatever this situation is that you're dealing with, it doesn't feel like this is your priority. It feels like this is the screaming baby in your life. So, like when we kind of think about, I don't have children. I have a niece, and she's past the screaming baby age. But, if we think about like the screaming baby, like especially an infant, like they're screaming because something's wrong, and they're screaming because they need help. They can't handle this by themselves, right? And so as adults, as parents, as caretakers, like we are obligated to care for that screaming infant, because that's how things work. Like they can't help themselves, so somebody else has to help them. And so I feel like that's kind of this analogy for feeling trapped, feeling stuck, feeling like you don't have a choice in whether you do this thing or not. And so, going back to this analogy of the screaming baby, like when people have to take care of their babies, like new parents, like there's things that they have to make choices around, right? That like maybe they used to go out every Friday after work and have a beer with friends, or, meet for a meal or something like that. And, maybe the baby has been screaming a lot in the middle of the night and they're really tired and they just want to go home and rest on, Friday after work. Maybe they just want to like go home and take a nap because they got up early, and, childcare, they don't have to pick up their kid for like another 2 hours. So they just, they don't want to hang out and like get food or drinks. They just want to go home and take a nap because they're very tired. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about like other choices in other areas of our lives. So, because this is so general, because I don't know what it is, that you're asking about, as far as like this change, I all I can pick up on is the situation, which feels like it's pretty difficult and overwhelming for you. I think one thing that you're not aware of is that there's a new beginning coming, and it almost feels like this situation has run its course, and that like it's burnt you out all the way. It's burnt out all the candles. Like it can't get any worse. But also like, once like these candles that have been cried on, like they can't be relit, it's kind of like a match. Like once you strike a match, you can't restrike it, but that doesn't mean that you can't get another match and use that to light another candle, right? And so it feels like the thing that you're not aware of around like whatever this, this fill in the blank is for you, is that it has the potential to bring a new beginning for you. And like, I'm just really getting this strong feeling that like you're being encouraged to walk away from the situation. And that in leaving behind these old candles that, are burnt out or that don't work properly anymore, like you'll be able to find this new candle, this new passion, this new experience, this new opportunity, this new connection, once you leave this behind. The thing that's in your environment, like the thing that you're very aware of, is this 10 of Cups. And so with this 10 of Cups, we have these two people that are kissing, and they almost look like a mountain with a river running through them, right? Like they look like they're kind of this merging of like two mountains coming together, or like earth and water, this energy of combination, right? In the traditional tarot, 10 of Cups it's very much a happily ever after card, but it's also a card of like family, like creating a union with someone else to have a family, to create a life together, to create a family, even if it's just the two of them. And I feel like this kind of depiction of like earth and water is very much the same as, you know, if you're planting a garden or you're wanting to plant crops, like the soil needs to be like healthy, and you need the soil plus the water to come together so that like there's an opportunity for these seeds to grow. So it feels like either you have like a lot of family support around you regarding this, or leaving this behind. You know, if this is a relationship, a romantic relationship, like it's going, leaving behind this heartache is going to lead you to the happily ever after that you really, really want. For those of you that are looking for, you know, that love and connection, for those of you that like this is about maybe like a work situation or even a family situation, like something that's like draining you, something that has left you burnt out, like there's a strong encouragement to leave it behind so that you can begin something new and come into a space of like fruition, of really good good soil, good circumstances, like good connections, like peace, harmony, balance. You know, 10 is an even number. And then also 10 in numerology, 1 plus 0 reduces to 1, which is this ace card, you know, this one candle, this new beginning. This 9 of cups, like this card really kind of talks about like what it is that I want to say, oh, sorry, I think I hit the microphone. I want to say like a resolution, but really it's getting clear on what it is that you want. This card is 9 of Cups is about wish fulfillment. And this little kind of, you know, magical fairy here, she's got her wand out and it's like, okay, I'm here to grant you a wish, but I don't know what you want. And it almost feels like you're not sure what you want either. And it might be because you're so exhausted that you're like, I just don't want this. I don't want this. I don't care what else comes. And that, I totally get that. I think sometimes when we hit our breaking point, like we just want to be done with this and we want to get to a new beginning. And like, we don't care what that new beginning is, right? Just like, I just need a clean slate. I need a fresh start. Like, I don't care. I just need to be out of this pain and into something new, because something new has got to be better. Anything new has got to be better than this. And so it feels like, you know, it feels like God, source, spirit, the universe, your guides, whatever like kind of higher level belief that you have, like a spirit team, whatever you want to call it, like they, you know, like they see how hard it's been for you, and like they're like they're just, I feel like they're just on standby. Like what group number 1, what do you need from us? What do you need from us? Like we are so ready to bring it in, to call it in, to manifest it, to help you with it, but we just don't know what it is that you need, you know. And that's not to put pressure on you. Like for some of you, I feel like until you walk away from this, until you get out of this energy, whether that's leaving it or resolving it, but until you get out of this really painful, overwhelmed, heartbroken energy, you won't be able to get clear on what it is that you need. And I think part of that is because all your light is gone, right? Like all these tears have burnt out this light. And so maybe in that time when you walk away and you move towards something new, like that spark, that match, you know, that new candle can be lit, and then you can have a chance to kind of have that quiet stillness. You can have that time with your candle to really see like, okay, what is it that I want? Like now that I'm able to have some peace and quiet, and I can just kind of pull back and like look at my situation or reflect back on this or kind of dream about the future. What is it that I want? And so like you have guidance around you, you have support, you have a spirit team that just wants to help you with that whenever you're ready to tell them what it is that you want. They're just kind of on standby, you know. They're like, just shoot me a text when you're ready. Like, I've got my phone on me. So this is, this is what is there for you, what's available to you, just like all this like love that you're looking for. And finally, I feel like this whole situation needed to happen so that you could understand like what your value is. That like we've got this Queen of Cups laying here, very kind of Aphrodite, like she's kind of in this shell. She's got these little angels around her. And then I feel like this is like a bestie. I don't, I don't know why. Like, maybe you've like maybe you have a weird best friend, because we got this kind of alien looking person riding a dolphin in the sky with a flag, very, you might have an Aquarius bestie. You might have like, you might just have like a weird friend. This could be like one of your guides. This could be a guardian angel. In addition to these two, but I feel like this Queen of Cups is like, this is someone that's really loving and nurturing and caring. This is like big Cancer energy, right? Cancer's like the mother of the zodiac. This cup is much bigger than everything else, and it's floating in the sky. It's like you're always open to like giving and nurturing and loving in any way that you can. But when we see her kind of laying down here and these angels are here, like they're it's almost like they're trying to protect her, as well as this kind of dolphin rider that's kind of far out in the distance, because this almost looks to me like a what is it, like a scythe or a scythe? I don't know. The thing that like the Grim Reaper usually carries. So it's like a weapon. It's almost like these three are trying to run interference to protect her because she's given too much. So you might have given too much, right? This overwhelm, the sadness might be because you gave to someone that didn't appreciate you, and it's really painful to be just like taken from. It's really painful to realize that like we aren't valued, and like it's a painful lesson to learn that like there are people that will just take for the sake of taking, and also it's hard to see that about people and have to make decisions about like, I don't want to be around that, or I can't be in that situation. And I feel like that can apply to any number of things, right? It can apply to work, and it can apply to like personal relationships, friendships. It can apply to family. It can just apply to the systems that we are part of, that don't really see us as people. But all of this, this whole situation would happen so that you could get to a point where like you were able to see your own value, and like we have this person here that like, she's laying, but she's also kind of relaxing, right? She's got one arm over her head and she's got the other arm stretched out, like she's lounging. So she's relaxing. She's just enjoying this time of taking a break. And so I feel like even though this situation was like really is or was, I feel like for most of you it is like really difficult. I think that like we can find the blessings and the hard things that we experience, right? That like to get to a breaking point and then choose what we need for a fresh start to move towards love. Because when we look at the direction these cards are going, it's progressing towards love, right? So 10 of Cups is happily ever after. 9 of Cups is like your wishes coming true. Queen of Cups is like the ultimate self-love, self-care card. So you're moving away from something that's really painful and you're moving towards really loving and valuing yourself. And, it's hard when we go through these really difficult things because in the moment it sucks. And like sometimes when we are hurting, it's hard to find like the positive things in that. And sometimes you don't want to, right? Like that doesn't help. Sometimes we just need to process and cry and release and like feel our feelings and allow ourselves to just acknowledge that like something hurts or something shitty, or that like this sucks, because like it's hard to be a human being sometimes. But I feel like as you move away from this, like from this feeling of overwhelm or from the situation, like you know what's best for you, like you're going to over time see like how it brought you to a new way of seeing and valuing and loving yourself. And so if you're in this right now, like this is where you're going to end up with this, you know, higher perspective of yourself, with this deeper self-love and like self-care. And so I hope that brings you some comfort if you're still kind of deep in this. I want to show you this oracle card. Let's see what it has. Okay. Oh, dream. Yeah. You know, we talked about like this 9 of Cups being the wish fulfillment, you know, wish fulfillment, dreams coming true, but also looking at her here, you know, this might also talk about like rest and sleep, because we've got this kind of moon here. I think if you're still processing this, if you're still very much in this, I would like to invite you to get as much rest as you can for yourself. And sometimes rest looks different for everybody. Some people it's physical rest of taking a nap. Like some people it's mental, emotional rest, like trying to find a way to give yourself a little bit of distraction from this, you know, and like sometimes the distractions that are most helpful in the moment are the ones that, like, I feel like, okay, so if you're into any kind of like spiritual development, personal development, like there's so much judgment tied into all of it, because it's like, you know, I feel like there's people that mean well and they offer advice based on like what works for them. And I feel like there are genuinely people that are like, I need to process my emotions and I'm going to go for a run. That's not me. I'm not that, I'm not that person. I feel like most of the people I know are not that person. Maybe you are. Maybe you just need to go for a run. But I want to say, if you are someone that you find comfort in, like, going to get yourself a milkshake and watching that movie that you have watched 50 times already, and that is how you rest and give yourself a break, then I would like to give you permission to do that, or to get like a big greasy cheeseburger, or like whatever you're into, right? Like whatever, like the thing, like in this moment of this pain, like what do you need? Whatever that first thing is that comes up, I am giving you full permission to do that thing, unless it involves like some kind of self-harm. I will not give you permission to do that, because you are love and you are loved and we need you here. Also, I am not giving you permission to do anything that will send you to jail, because we are too cute for jail. We can't we can't do that. We're too cute for jail. Plus we have other things to do. We can't be trapped in jail. We got things to do, you know. But you know, I digress. I'm just trying to make a little joke, but I feel like whatever it is that you need to do in this moment, even if it's like doing a little bit of bed rotting, you know, sometimes you just got to go to your safe place and hang out with your pillows and just lay in bed and, you know, be a little bit of a bed goblin, you know, or a house goblin, that's what I am. So I'm going to give you full permission to do that, you know, to hide out in your house for as long as you need, to give yourself a little bit of like nourishment and comfort and rest. So yeah, group number 1, this reading has been how your situation will change if fill in the blank happens. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you found this reading to be supportive. And I just want to say thank you so much for letting me read your cards, and thank you for being here. And yeah, I'm excited for things to progress and for you to move towards like your love and your dreams and your happiness, and like what fills up your cup instead of what drains it. So yeah, I hope that you take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 2. So if you chose this How Can I Cultivate More Structure and Stability in My Life card, this is your reading. So I have pulled tarot cards for you from the Erenberg Tarot, as well as one oracle card which I'm just going to show you because I can't really flip it the other way. But so this oracle card is Tiger's Eye, and the message is confidence, fearlessness, daring. And then it's got a little crystal fact on here. The brilliant striped reflections in Tiger's Eye are called chatoyancy. I don't know if I said that right. I feel like that's a word they made up, but I'm not a not a gemologist or whatever, geologist. I'm not a doctor of rocks. Yeah, so confidence, fearlessness, daring. I feel like it kind of matches these cards, which is fun. Okay, so let's look at your tarot for how can you cultivate more structure and stability in your life. Okay, so we have got Four of Cups, Six of Cups, Knight of Cups, Hermit, and the King of Cups. There's lots of cups here. The Cups cards are associated with love, emotions, feelings, water energy. As a Cancer Sun and a Cancer Mercury, I totally get this. Lots of love, lots of emotions. So I'm curious if the structure and stability in your life that you're looking for has to do with kind of controlling your emotions, or something that has kind of created this emotional response in you. And I say that because with this Four of Cups, we can see, like, I feel like the fun thing about the Erenberg Tarot is that it's all very hyper focused in on like one element from each tarot card, like from the traditional imagery of the tarot cards. So if you're familiar with traditional tarot imagery, then like these cards kind of look similar. It's just very zoomed in. So we have this Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups is generally kind of a card of dissatisfaction that, we've got this person with their arms crossed, and then we have someone else, which is God, Source, Spirit, Universe, that's offering them this cup. But it's very hard for us to receive things when we're not open to it, right? Like this person has no intentions of taking this cup. And so it might be that you're potentially not open to outside help regarding like structure and stability in your life. You might not be ready. You might not have been ready the other times that you wanted to bring in more structure and stability. This card for some reason gives me big, I can't because I don't want to. And my sister-in-law told me about a friend that she had that, like, this had to be like 5 or 6 years ago. She was like, yeah, I have this friend that, like, when she doesn't want to do something, she says, I can't because I don't want to. And my sister-in-law was like, I just think that's like genius. And so now it's kind of a joke where it's like, oh, I can't because I don't want to. When really, like, the whole thing is like, the root of it is that, like, it's not that you can't, you're not going to because you don't want to, right? And so there's a little bit of stubbornness here that, like, I don't want that. I don't want to. I don't want that. So if that resonates for you, I would invite you to kind of ask, if you really want more structure and stability in your life, or if you feel like that's what you're supposed to want, or if you feel like that's like what you're supposed to be doing, or if somebody has been like, hey, if you were just more structured, things would be easier, or you need to do this, or you should do that. Like with this hand coming in, it feels like there's something outside of you that's like offering something, and it's like you don't want it. So it might even have been, because I'm looking at this Knight of Cups and this King of Cups, it might have been that, like, you tried something in the past. I don't know if you can hear that. It's like raining really hard and loud outside. Okay. I don't I don't know why I shared that. I guess just in case you could hear something kind of noisy. And if not, then just don't mind me. What could have happened in the past, because I'm seeing these cups here, right? The hand in a cup, a hand in a cup, a hand in a cup. obviously, cups cards, but not every cup card focuses on the hand. What I'm also picking up is you may have tried to kind of implement more structure and stability in your life before, and it didn't work. And there might be this feeling of like, well, I can't because I tried already and it didn't work. Or what if I fail? Instead of failing, I just won't try, And so if, yeah, I feel like this is something that you tried before and it didn't work. And like with the Six of Cups, this is a card of nostalgia. This is a card of childhood. So I'm kind of picking up two different energies. I'm picking up that like there might have been something from your childhood where someone was telling you like you just need to be more structured, you need to be more stable, you need to be less emotional, you need to be whatever things that maybe you think that you aren't. And what I would like to invite you to do is to, like, if that resonates for you, if you feel like there's somebody that, was really critical of you in the past and that, kind of told you that you needed to do all these things, I would like to invite you again to ask, like, is this really something that you feel like would benefit you? Like, would it benefit you to put more structure into your life or put more stability into your life? And if it would, if it's something that you want, like, what is the best way to do it for you instead of the way that somebody else said that you should do it? The other thing that's coming up is I'm getting like some kind of like family thing of like someone in your family's trying to like kind of push this on you or encourage you to do it. And it almost feels like when you feels like getting hijacked. Okay. It feels like when you are talking to somebody and you're like, yeah, I really need to get back in the gym. And they're like, oh, yeah, totally. Like, you should come with me. So I'll come and get you tomorrow at 7 when I go to the gym. And it's like, whoa, I don't, what? Like, I'm going to ease back into it. I have like my own process. Like I like to maybe do some workouts at home or I like to go for walks or da-da-da. And they're like, no. Like you've tried so many times and like, trust me, this will work. And so I'm just going to come get you and just like, you're just going to go with me and it'll be really quick. And so like what happens is like they pick you up and they actually get there like earlier than normal. And like they have like a smoothie for you and they're like, oh, there's pre-workout in here and you just need to drink this. That's why I got here early. And you're like groggy and you're just getting more irritated that this person is like kind of forcing you to do this thing that like, but they're trying to help and you don't want to be ungrateful, but like this, you don't want to do this. Like you go and do the workout and you're like, okay, I only have 45 minutes. And then I have to go home and get ready for work. And they're like, yeah, well, it'll be fine. And then an hour later, they're dropping you off. And it's like, okay, now I have to rush and get ready for work. And, there's things that you didn't get to do. Like, you didn't get to pack a lunch, because you're running late. And so now you got to get some fast food. And it's like, it just kind of derails everything to have someone force you to do things their way instead of like just doing things in a way that works for you. So like I'm getting like I'm getting that. I'm getting that for some of you. Yeah, like it just feels like someone is like, I know the best way for you to do it and this is what you need to do. And it's like, no. With this Knight of Cups, we can see that, it's got this armor around it, but there's also like this, it's hard to see. It's a horse, and so this is the horse's hair, and the knight is holding onto their cup while they're riding on this horse. And so the knights are about taking action, but I feel like with this focus on like the back of the horse and holding the cup, it almost feels like this is very much the same energy, right? Where it's like the universe is like, hey, I can offer you this thing. And you're like, I don't know. And then you've got somebody from your past or your family or something, that's like, oh, you should do it this way. and you're like, oh, this is terrible. I didn't get to pack a lunch, you know, that whole scenario. And then the universe comes back again and is like, hey, do you, I'm happy to like line up some synchronicities for you if you really want to do this thing. Like, I can introduce you to the right people. I can put you in the right places, or I can kind of make things like I can help to create easy circumstances for you to facilitate this change if you just want to trust me on this. But you don't have to, you know, because the universe is never going to force us. But, you know, the universe is like, hey, if you enjoy being outside, and if you want to, you know, you like horses, do you want to take up horseback riding for an exercise? Like, I know a horse, like I can help you out here. So it feels like this progression, right? Of like having had someone kind of hijack to assist you in the past, and maybe now you're in a place where like you're open to trusting the universe to give you more like divine assistance in meeting your goals. And I think also with this Hermit card, like this is a card of kind of journeying alone. You know, like the Hermit has got this lantern, you know, that he's carrying with him through the woods. Like it's just got this little candle in it. And it's a solo journey, you know, that like the Hermit gains wisdom from being slow and intentional and really focused on the present moment, you know, because with this lantern, like you can't see very far with a candle, you know, and like he's in the mountains. So like needing to be very careful about where he steps. And, you know, the Hermit is like in the traditional tarot, he's an older guy, you know, so he's not like, he can't really afford any kind of like injuries or damage. Again, he's alone, so even if he was young or she was young, like they are alone, very few resources. And so this card, I'm not saying this because it's like you got to do it all by yourself and like figure it out. No, the purpose of the Hermit's journey excuse me, I was losing my voice. Not even the purpose, like the magic of the Hermit's journey is that he, you know, climbs from the bottom to the top of the mountain. And, you know, once he gets to the top of the mountain, like this candle, it's a star, right? And so it's essentially a nod to the Hermit's journey that he begins, you know, by himself, and it's a very long, arduous journey. And at the end, he gets to the star card. And the star card is one of like the most positive, fortuitous cards in the tarot, because like when we draw that card, when we get to that energy, we realize that we are the star. And so the Hermit's journey, this long journey by himself, is for him to discover that he is the star, that he is this magical being, that he has all of these like talents and gifts and like abilities and perseverance and fortitude, and that like to reflect back on everything that has happened, to see, you know, oh, I am gifted and I am capable and I am strong and I can do all of these things that I never imagined that I could when I started this journey. And so I feel like the universe is offering you assistance to begin that journey so that you can go through these things to see, you know, going through this journey of cultivating a more structured and stable life, because this isn't like, doing this is not like 10 easy steps to getting organized, right? Like this isn't like buy a planner, like write down all your appointments and don't ever be late for anything. Like structure and stability looks different for everybody. You know, for some people, structure is something that like they have only in their very inner personal life, right? That like in their quiet, peaceful time for themselves, like that's their sacred time and it's very structured. And then they go out in the world and they're with other people and they're very kind of like go with the flow and like nothing really bothers them. And then there's other people that like, you know, maybe you have a household that like you're responsible for and you want to put structure in there for those people. Or it could just be like a habit, right? Like developing like some kind of like health focused habit. Or, you know, if you're, you know, wanting to learn a skill or go back to school, or just trying to figure out how to bring some more like emotional stability into your life. Because like I said, we have all these cups that, you know, the universe is like, hey, I'm here to help you. But, you know, this is something that, like with the Hermit, this is your only major arcana card. And major arcana cards are major life changes. Like this is like, you know, like this journey is essentially like moving from one phase of life to another phase, right? That like we can think of even the Hermit's journey as like when a woman is pregnant, it's 10 months, you know, and that like, have you ever seen like the progress pictures that like a lot of pregnant ladies do, you know, where it's like 2 weeks and like 10 weeks and 16 weeks and then months later. And when you see all those pictures, you can see like, okay, there was no bump. Oh, there's a little bump and there's more of a bump. And then it's like you get to, you know, maybe a week or two before the due date. And it's like, wow, that's a basketball. Like there's a lot of baby in there, you know? And so it's 10 months is a long time, right? It's almost a year. It can be an arduous journey for some people, but I think to look back on it, you know, and like once you have that baby to think like, wow, this is like 10 months ago, this little, you know, this little potato didn't exist. And so I say that because I think sometimes when we want to make big changes in our lives, it can feel kind of overwhelming because our brain says, oh yeah, I can make that change in 2 weeks. And then our physical vessel is like, wait, what time do I have to wake up tomorrow? Like, wait, hold on. Wait, what? We gotta do what? You know? And so I just want to, I guess, encourage you that the growth is in the journey, right? And like calling it arduous, like that makes it not super attractive. I get that. But I think the other part of it is that when you get to the other side of doing a really difficult thing and you look back on it, like sometimes you look back and it's like, that was really hard. Like, that was really, really hard. And also I did that really, really hard thing. And me, pre-hard thing, would not have believed that I could do it if someone had told me like, oh yeah, you know, 3 years from now, you're going to do this really hard thing, you know, like past you is probably like, I don't know if I can do that. But future you, the universe is like, yep, you got this. You can do this. And so with this final card, the King of Cups, like the King of Cups is very emotionally mature. The King of Cups is also a deeply, deeply loving energy, you know, that like, we see this, you know, eye and then this cup, like this cup is being offered, I want to say full force, but like not violently or anything, but like very intentionally being offered forward, like, looking someone in the eye and like saying to them, like, this is what I have to offer. This is my value. This is who I am. This is what I'm capable of. And so like kings are very strong, stable, firm, grounded, like wise, knowing energies. To be in your king energies, to like really know who you are. And that includes like knowing what your capabilities are and knowing what your capabilities are not, you know, like having this really balanced perspective of the self, but also like this deep balanced knowing of the self. And I feel like if you've tried to make some kind of change for a more structured and stable life in the past and it hasn't worked out, I feel like this is the time that you can make it happen because you have the resources that you need. The universe is like, I'm here to help you. And once you're ready to receive that, like you're going to to begin on this journey, you know, to getting to become the King of Cups. And again, like with this oracle card, confidence, fearlessness, daring, that, you know, that's what a king, that's what that king energy is, you know, that like the embodiment of kind of being that wise leader that, you know, that has been through enough experiences to know the difference between being confident and being cocky, the difference between being fearless and being foolish, the difference between being daring and being reckless. You know, I feel like there's kind of there's a fine line between the two extremes, right? But I think the other part of it is that when we are confident, like people can sense that, they can see that about us. Like when we are fearless, it doesn't mean that like we're not afraid of what we're like needing to do. The fear is there. It's just not holding us back. Like we're fearless in how we take action, which is also like what courage is. I mean, courage is like doing it scared. And then that daring is, you know, choosing to try something again, even if it didn't work the first time, you know, like being brave enough to potentially fail, but being confident enough and fearless enough to try something in a different way, because the potential outcome, the potential success is worth the possible failure. Because even if you're not successful, like you're going to learn something. Just like, you know, if you tried to implement some kind of structure and stability in the past and it didn't work out, and you reflect back on what it was that didn't work, like having someone hijack your workout plan instead of doing the workout that you know feels best for you, that's a huge lesson, right? That if it happens again where someone's like, oh yeah, I'll pick you up and we'll do this, you could be like, nope, actually I'm not a morning person. I don't enjoy working out with other people. I totally appreciate you offering that to me, and like just thank you for wanting to include me in that, but like you're my friend and I don't want you to see the really grumpy side of me in the morning, you know. But if I do ever want to work out, you know, in the gym, then I definitely will let you know, you know. And being able to really say confidently, like, okay, this is what I need, this is what I don't need. I feel like those are the things that, you know, that we can learn and we can implement when we've tried something before and it didn't work. You know, seeing how we can do it differently instead of letting that negative self-talk tell us that like, you failed, don't try again. Because like there's a reason that you want to move towards this, right? There's something that feels in alignment, in resonance for you, and there's something that like you want that's part of this. And so what you are attracted to is attracted to you. So structure and stability want to be part of your life as well, just like you want to cultivate more of them. So group number 2, this has been your reading. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed it. If this tiger's eye resonates for you, I would definitely encourage you to kind of learn a little bit more about it. I think like learning the metaphysical aspects of crystals is really fun, at least to me, even though I'm not a doctor of rocks, as I said in the beginning. But I just want to say thank you so much for letting me read your cards. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching this reading. And I hope you have a good day, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, group number 3. So if you chose this, what is the romantic potential of this relationship card? This is your reading. Actually, I'm going to put this over... Where do I want to put this? I don't know. I'm going to move it around a bunch. So I have pulled 5 tarot cards for you from the Osho Zen Tarot, and then I've got this oracle card for you that we will look at the end. So let's take a look at your tarot cards. Maybe I will put this little guy over here. Okay. Okay. So we've got friendliness, 2 of Cups, rebirth, 10 of Wands. Interesting. 4 of Pentacles, I think. Yeah, the Miser. Two of Wands possibilities, and then completion, which is the World card. So I feel like there's a lot of potential in this relationship. So with this Two of Cups card, this friendliness card coming out in the beginning, this is just really adorable because when you look at these two trees, like look how they're leaning into each other, and then their leaves are meshing together to make this beautiful kind of orangey color. Like these trees are reaching for each other, you know, and they like, I feel like this is a very balanced connection because they still are retaining their own colors, but they're meeting in the middle to make this new beautiful color. So I feel like this is like partnership where it's like I bring this to the table and you bring this to the table, and then when we come together we can create, you know, a meal together, or we can make something. There's a third entity that comes out of us. Oh, sorry, buddy. There's a third energy that comes out of us combining our two energies, you know, and we can see that with this orange in the middle. So yeah, this is just very, it's just really, it feels like, it feels like the energy feels like it's hugging my heart, you know, like that, just like my, like something's giving my heart chakra a little hug, which is so sweet. This feels like a past energy, like this 10 of Wands rebirth card. This card really kind of talks about like elevating, right? That like having this kind of energetic up leveling. But you know, 10s in the tarot are the end of a cycle. This 10 of Wands is essentially like doing too much. Carrying too much, like doing too much, trying too hard. So it almost feels like in the past, you might have had like your kind of go-to in relationships was to like try too hard or to do too much, or even like to be the chaser. And so there's a podcast that I've talked about before that I listened to. It's called Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. And she was talking about like Pluto energies because they're shifting right now. Like Pluto is slowing down to go retrograde, which it's something that is going to unfold over the course of like the year, because it'll be retrograde until I want to say October. So that's quite a few months. But the Pluto energy is about power, death, and rebirth. And so like with power dynamics, she was talking about how sometimes like when we, you know, it wasn't Molly McCord, it was somebody else. Sorry. It was Haley Comet. She's on YouTube. But she was talking about like the physical, you know, energy and space between people, that like when someone's really excited and they like are talking to us and they like come into our space, like our natural reaction is to pull away, like, whoa, like, why are you in my bubble? You know, and they're like, I'm really excited. And so like with that imbalance of energy, like when we chase, that creates this reactive energy in someone else to run away, right? Like, I mean, we can see it, like animals do it. That's how they play. That's how kids play. But I feel like this is kind of a very common dynamic in like romantic relationships where like playing hard to get, or like pursuing or being too aggressive, or at least it's like these weird power dynamics, you know, that we have in relationships when like instead we could just choose to be authentic. Like even thinking about like I feel like the 3-day rule was something that like it's something that's been like kind of talked about a lot on like social media, but I feel like that's something that like, weren't we talking about this like 20 years ago? Like I feel like I remember being in my 20s and like that being like this dating rule that like, oh, you can't, like after your first date you don't talk to them for 3 days. And it's like, what? This was like before texting was like really popular, right? So I was like, what do you mean I can't send them a MySpace message for 3 days, you know? And I think we were in this place, and maybe people are in this place now too, where it's like, who makes up these arbitrary rules? Like, what does this shit even mean? So if I like you, I'm not supposed to let you know that I like you. So then you think that I don't like you. And if you think that I don't like you, wouldn't you like not like me too? So then we just kind of get caught in this loop of like not talking to each other. What is this? But then it's like, if you are too assertive and like you do too much, then that person, you know, you might scare them away, or they might think like, oh, okay, I don't really have to like put much effort in because they're always going to chase me. So I say all that to share that I feel like there's this old kind of power imbalance, power dynamic, like in other relationships where it was like you were doing too much or like you were trying too hard. And I feel like that's really kind of, you're leaving that behind, because I talked about this being like this up-leveling card. Like you're elevating up past that, because we've got this kind of dark, smoky, you know, kind of past, this little mountain. And then there might have been, you know, like maybe some frustration around like, I don't know what to do. What's the right thing? What's not the right thing? And then, you know, moving into your more elevated, authentic, like higher self. And I feel like for some of you that had to do with like doing inner child work, because I think for a lot of people, well, I feel like for most people, if you subscribe to like attachment styles, like we develop them in our childhood, you know, and so like doing that inner child work, trying to figure out, you know, like what did you not receive as a child that you can give to yourself now, instead of what did you not receive as a child that you look for from romantic partners or friends or bosses or coworkers. You know, that's when we're wounded, it's very hard not to become, gosh, I don't want to say a victim, but like subject to what we need to tend to those wounds, right? So like if you don't realize, like for me, I had this like not good enough wound for so long. I mean, it's still like a little bit there. It's not fully healed, but I was really, really operating out of this like not good enough wound. And it came from childhood, that like I could never do anything that was good enough for my mom. And it took me like into my 30s to like realize that like it wasn't my issue, right? That like I had tried for 3 decades to like do more and be more and accomplish more and do all these things to show how like successful and worthy and valuable I was as a daughter, so that she would finally like love and accept me the way that I wanted or needed to be loved and accepted. And like had some family stuff happen, and I realized like, oh, this is like, there's not anything I can do to satisfy whatever this thing is in you, because this is your wound to resolve, you know? So it's like, I'm thinking that like, if I just do enough, I can heal your wound. But really it's just me operating out of my own wound, trying to like get you to help me heal, which I feel like this, like, I hope that's not confusing and convoluted, but I share all that to say that, you know, like once we kind of are able to see the reality of how we're operating out of our wounds, then it's like we can kind of start to heal ourselves. And I feel like that's something that like you absolutely can do for yourself. You might have already started doing that for yourself. And like, I think a lot of people avoid inner child work because it's kind of hard. It's a little bit painful. But I think once you start to kind of dig into it more, like you get to this place where like reparenting yourself becomes like second nature, right? So there's times that like, even today, like there's times that, you know, I'll have a day where it's like, I don't want to do homework, or I don't want to record a video, or I don't want to make a set of press-on nails. Like I don't want to do, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything, you know, and I will go into like the self-judgment of like, why I have things I need to do, and like, why aren't I doing those things? And then this kind of wise part of myself, the one that has become this inner parent that's trying to fight this inner criticism, is like, so I just want to point out that you just finished 2 10-week graduate classes, and you wrote 2 very, very long papers last week. So that's probably why you're tired. That's probably why you don't want to do anything. And I would just like to let you know that has earned you, quite a few days of resting your brain, and definitely a nap if you would like to take one, and that's what reparenting looks like, is kind of having this part of you that is there to give like this love and reassurance to yourself when like that inner critic, or like, the version of my mom that lives in my brain is like, yeah, you didn't do enough. You should try harder. It's not going to help. It'll never be enough, but you still should. You should still try, because, well, I mean, how are you going to get better? And then like the reparenting part of myself is like, 1, gross. 2, don't listen to her. No. She doesn't know what she's talking. That lady's never written a paper. Like, that lady doesn't know how to read tarot cards. Don't listen to her. So yeah. So I say all that to let you know that you're moving away from that old habit of like trying too hard, doing too much. And it feels like it's because you have been doing, or you are opening up to doing like that inner child work that's really going to help you kind of elevate out of those old past habits. This next card, this Miser card, I think that one of the challenges I feel like for you is going to be learning how to open your heart again, because we have this, this woman that has all these treasures that she's holding, but she has this look on her face, very, very distrustful, looking back over her shoulder. She doesn't trust the outside world. This like gold and yellow heart chakra, solar plexus chakra that she keeps hidden, these treasures that she keeps hidden. Her jacket is a stone wall. So it feels like there are things that happen to you that in order to protect yourself, you had to really create kind of this protective shell, right? Almost like a little turtle, or like, a castle with high walls, or putting a moat around your castle. And that when we keep our hearts so guarded, it absolutely protects them from people that want to steal the beautiful parts of us, people that want to hurt the beautiful parts of us, people that want to take from us and not give. It prevents us from allowing access to the people that don't value us, but just want to take what they can take from us. Unfortunately, it also prevents us from mingling energies with other people. And so I think that there's this wise inner child part of you that's ready to rise above it because they want to connect. And there's a wounded part of you that wants to connect as well, and maybe doesn't know how to bring down those walls. And so that leads us to this next card of possibilities, potential possibilities. But like this Two of Wands card, like we have this eagle that's flying way above everything, right? And so I almost feel like this card, like, yes, possibilities, but I almost feel like it's more of a card of perspective. And so this feels like weird counterintuitive advice, but just stay with me. Sometimes when I'm speaking for myself too. Sometimes when we have had a lot of like wounds happen and we have kind of locked ourselves away, closed ourselves off for the purpose of protecting ourselves, it's very hard to open back up, right? Because it feels like open is not safe, and safety is what's the most important for a really tender, loving heart, because at the end of the day, when we look at these images, like you are this child, right? This child with a flute, like no weapon. You have a flute. Like, what are you going to play some music and put him to sleep? Come on. So like vulnerable, tender, open, you are a tree. And look at these leaves, right? Like even the intermingling causes them to fall down, like to fall away, like a strong breeze is going to rustle those leaves. So it's like you have a very, very tender, beautiful heart, and when fear is an emotion, right? So when we have had difficult things happen and we lean on emotion for logic, it can cause us to stay in this guarded energy. But when we can look at emotion from an objective perspective, when we can look at relationships from an objective perspective, when we can zoom out and look at things, we can see the things that the emotions and the fear won't show us. So if you were to zoom out and think about, those people that hurt you that are not in your life anymore, and if you were to think about the people that have not hurt you, that have been in your life for a very long time, that is this Two of Wands, right? So like this Two of Wands, this perspective is like, okay, this is all the hard stuff that happened in the past, but this is all the really beautiful stuff that is happening now. These are the healthy, loving relationships that I've had for this long. These are the people that know me, that know my soft, tender parts, that have seen my beautiful, sparkly heart, that have never hurt me. Or if they have hurt me, they apologize for it and they let me talk about how that impacted me, and they made changes so that it didn't happen again. And these are people that I can trust, and these are people that have given me evidence that I can continue to open my heart and still be safe. And so I say all that to say, like, when you have those two perspectives, you can look at, okay, when I was hurt by those people, what are some of the things that in hindsight are indicators that it wasn't safe to be open to them? And then when I look at the healthy relationships I have now, what are some of the indicators that like are evidence that these people are worth continuing to open my heart to? And I feel like when we're able to objectively look at those two things and kind of move the emotion out of the way, when we can rise up, we can move up and zoom out and look at these two things, like it can really shift the way that we approach love. And so I think it also can shift the way that we see ourselves. That sometimes when we've been hurt, like this miser, she doesn't see herself accurately. Like she's protecting all her treasures because she's afraid that love turns her into the person that can't see who's going to hurt her. What the miser doesn't understand is that like all this evidence that she has of people that value her treasures, of people that are like, hey, I know that you're really guarded about this. And like, I just want to let you know that like, I found this giant treasure box that I wanted to give you so that you can keep your treasures in it and hide it wherever you want. And I won't ask you where it is. I just saw this box and thought that you would love it. And I wanted to give it to you. Like when we collect evidence for those people that are really like loving, safe in our life, that is also who she is. She's also the person that knows how to choose safe, loving people to have connections and relationships with. Ben agrees. Yeah. Okay, thanks. So that's like the key to this possibilities card, this perspective that when we zoom out and we zoom away from the fear and the emotion of it, like we get to see that like we are the person that can make good decisions for ourselves, even if we were the person that didn't make great decisions in the past because we didn't know any better. I feel like I'm really preaching at you and I'm sorry. Because I need you to know that, because I feel like that was a really big thing for me to learn, because I have my days where I'm still her. I'm still, I'm not really super trusting of new people, but I am very, very trusting of myself. So when I pick up on certain energies with people, like that helps me to understand like what I need to know about them. And kind of how I need to approach things. And so I say all that to say that like you are coming to a place where you are learning how to trust yourself. And I feel like that is the most important thing. Like developing a trusting relationship with yourself. Because when you can earn your own trust, then you have become someone that takes very good care of you. And I think, not to say that you haven't in the past, excuse me, just speaking from personal experience, when I didn't trust myself, it was because I didn't take good care of myself. I wasn't making good decisions for myself because I didn't know how. Because I thought that love was self-abandonment, which I think is what a lot of people are taught, and I think you're moving away from that. You're learning that, I'm losing my voice, sorry. You're learning that you deserve to follow the decisions that are the best for you, not the ones that are the best for everybody else. And all of this, like, is leading you to the completion of a cycle. This World card is like, it's the final puzzle piece in something where it's like, whatever this difficult love lesson was that you needed to learn, you're coming to the end of that. And I think that, I'm sorry. I think that that really was the purpose of all of it, right? Like, that you needed to go through the things that you needed to go through to realize that you could trust yourself. And that once you finally trusted yourself and you trusted yourself to make good decisions, because you're able to see like how much you've grown, then it becomes safe for you to trust other people. Because I think really like the potential like of this relationship is about you. It's not about, like, this reading is not about the potential of the romantic potential of this other person. It's it's always been you. It's always about you. That, like, you're the treasure, right? You think that everybody else is the thing that deserves to be chased, but it's like you're the treasure, like, and you are your own treasure. And that once you're able to really like love yourself and trust yourself and like make the decisions that are the best for you, and make those decisions like upfront first before you decide, what everybody else deserves, like that shifts everything. Like that self-love, that self-acceptance shifts everything. Yeah. And that's going to close out this cycle, that you're like, the more, it's like you can't unlearn self-trust, right? Like once you can't unlove yourself. Like you can't unsee something, right? Like you can't unfuck what's been fucked. Like this, once you start to trust and love and value yourself, like that is the completion. Like that's what this whole cycle was for. I hope that's making sense. And this is a strange love reading, I know. So let's look at your final oracle card. Oh, you are not alone. Yeah, you've never been alone. Even if you don't have a partner, even if you live by yourself, even if you like think that you're the only person that goes through something, like you're not alone. Yeah. And I feel like for some of you, this is a card from someone on the other side, that like they're always there with you, right? So this could be somebody that passed, this could be a spirit guide, this could be a guardian angel, but like we've got these two stars together, like they're always there. They're always close by. Yeah. Oh, this is so sweet. I love it. This is a good reading. Good job, group number 3. It's good. You guys did great. Look at you. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it makes your heart feel like you're getting a hug, like that heart chakra hug thing I talked about. So, yeah, I feel like this is a big shift. It's a big shift for lots of you, and it's really beautiful. And I'm happy for you. I'm so excited. Yeah. So group number 3, thank you so much for letting me read your cards. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching this reading. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I hope that you have a great day. And I hope that like this just feels really good for you. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye. Hello, group number 4. So if you chose this Embrace and Let Go card, this is your reading. So if you watch the intro, I talked about how I have 2 sets of cards for you. One is for a reading on what you need to embrace, and one is a reading on what you need to let go of. And then I've got this oracle card here that we'll look at the end. So let's look at what you're being encouraged to embrace. Okay. And then what happens, let's see what happens if you do it and if you don't do it. So this is what you're being encouraged to embrace. What happens if you do embrace it? What happens if you don't embrace it? Move this over here. Okay, so this 8 of Swords card, this is a card of feeling stuck. Of kind of being stuck, right? We've got this person that's blindfolded. They're tied up as well. There's all these kind of microphones here. And it says feeling like a prisoner of the press. Can't go anywhere without being hounded for a story. Trapped, 8 of Swords. Sometimes, like, this is giving me big hanged man energy that like you're right where you need to be. It's almost like the I just had this phrase come into my mind. It's a very military phrase. I don't know if it'll make sense to anybody, but it is hemmed up. And so I feel like it's like this kind of slang term that like we would use, like it, and it's like, oh, somebody got hemmed up, like somebody got like they got yelled at, or they kind of got caught doing something they weren't supposed to do, and they like, it's not like really getting in trouble, but it's kind of like just having somebody like yell at you for doing something that you're not supposed to do. That like sometimes it was something that's like a safety thing, other times it's like just kind of making like a rookie mistake about something. Like, I don't know, like there's all these like little rules with the military where it's like you have to wear a hat when you're outside, you know. And so it's like if you are somebody that never wears hats, it's not, in the beginning, it's not intuitive, or it's not intuitive for you to put a hat on, but you go outside and you're carrying your hat, and then somebody comes up and yells at you because you don't have a hat on, and it's like, oh, that guy got hemmed up for not wearing his hat, right? So like it feels like the universe has you hemmed up, not necessarily like you're not in trouble, they're not yelling at you, but it's almost I'm feeling a lot of punishment energy, and I think that you feel like you're being punished. I think that's what I'm picking up on, because it feels like the toddler that's in the corner that's like pouting because they're in timeout and they're mad about it. Like they don't really understand like what they did wrong. Did they do something wrong? They don't know. Like they're a toddler. They're just, we can't slap people, like, but it's fun, you know. Like they don't understand the rules. They don't understand how all this stuff works. And so now they're just mad that they're in timeout because they have a toy they want to play with. And, you know, they're kind of looking over their shoulder at everybody else that gets to play. And it's like, well, that's not fair. Like, I'm mad, but I know that I can't leave because I understand that enough. And so it's very much like that feeling. So, I don't know if I said it already. You are exactly where you need to be right now. Even if you don't like it, I'm sorry that you don't like it. Like, that, I feel like that is kind of one of the hard things about like kind of, you know, like spiritual development, spiritual growth, like collaboration with the universe, that sometimes the universe is like, I know that you want to go somewhere, but it's not in alignment right now. And like, you can't, like, I don't have a car for you to drive to get there, so you can't go anywhere. And like, you also can't walk because it's 400 miles away. So you kind of, you know, you're kind of stuck. And I feel like saying that you are right where you need to be. That's not, I'm not saying like you deserve to be where you ended up. That is not what I'm saying. when I say like you are right where you need to be, like the universe has you here because, oh, okay, this, I'm getting a lot of like baby analogies, like toddler analogies. So I don't know if you're like new to your spiritual journey. And maybe that's why I keep seeing babies, but it almost feels like the universe is like, hey, I'm going to put you in this playpen because I need to go clean up the kitchen and I'm going to mop, but I don't want you to slip and fall because you'll hurt yourself. And that's the last thing we need is like a messy kitchen and a hurt baby. So I'm going to put you in this playpen. I'll be right back. You can see me. I'm in here mopping, you know, but it's like the baby's crying because they don't want to be in the playpen. They want to be over there. What are you doing? That looks fun. I love water. Can I play in that? It's like the baby doesn't understand, like it doesn't understand all the things that are happening, and it doesn't understand that like the parent's just trying to be protective, and like they don't want the baby to be miserable. They don't want the baby to cry. They don't want the baby to feel like they're missing out on things, but it's also like it's the lesser of two evils, right? Like you being upset and in the playpen is way better than you having a head injury. And so I feel like that is the energy of you being right where you need to be right now. Like you can't yet see that this is actually the best place for you to be in the moment. And so you're being asked to embrace like this stillness. Like you're being asked to embrace being in a place that you don't want to be, you know? And so like embracing something and loving it are two different things, right? That sometimes I think of like embracing where you are right now is really just accepting it. That like, okay, I get it. This is where I am right now. And that like the circumstances are not yet in place for me to run away. So I can keep fighting it. I can keep fighting the reality that this is where I need to be. And I can make myself more miserable in the fighting, or I can cause myself more problems, or I can just trust and relax and surrender and know that the universe is going to come and untie me when things are ready, when it's safe, when it's the right moment. And so if you choose to embrace being stuck, being in this trapped energy, like what is going to come is clarity. So this Queen of Swords, it's got this caption of like, I feel like the hashtags make more sense, but like tough love, strict but fair, student lover. That's an interesting hashtag. Queen of Swords. So I feel like, you know, the Queen of Swords, like she doesn't mince her words and she's very direct, and like she won't say it if she doesn't mean it. And so this almost feels like once you start to embrace this place that you're in that you don't want to be in, and you just kind of accept like, okay, I get that this is where I'm supposed to be. I don't like it, but I understand this is where I'm supposed to be until it's time to move. Like the more you can work on the acceptance, the faster this clarity is going to come to explain like, okay, this is why you're here, you know? And so those things, like, I feel like a really good analogy for that is that like, if you want to move, right? Like, let's say you want to move to a different state, and like, yes, you want to get somewhere else, but maybe the energy is more that you want to get away from where you are right now. And so it almost feels like there's two energies, right? That like, there's one energy of like wanting to move towards a goal, and there's another energy of wanting to run away from something that you don't like. That energetic intention can affect why we do the things we do, and where, like, how we end up where we end up. And just, it's like, one is a positive energy of growth, and the other one is almost an energy of like fear and avoidance. Like, I don't like what's here, I have to get the hell away from it. Or, oh, there's something better over there for me, I'm going to move towards that and leave this behind. So I feel like that, like, once you kind of accept that, okay, this is where I am for right now, and that I have somewhere I want to go, and that once the time is right, I know that I will move there instead of like, I got to get away from this shit. If you choose not to embrace, this being where you are right now, like if you choose to continue to try to fight to get away from that stillness, that waiting, that surrender, like you're just going to stay stuck longer. Like with this with this Four of Pentacles, like he's clinging really tightly to this pentacle. In the traditional tarot, he's got two pentacles under his feet, so like he can't move, right? He's holding one, he's got one above his head, and then he's got the two under his feet. So it's like if he gets up, and he tries to leave, he's going to have to pick up those two pentacles. These are very big. He's going to have to take the one off of his head. So that's two. And he's going to have to pick up the other two that are on the ground. And like, these are giant, right? Like it's too heavy for him to carry all of them. So he's kind of stuck. Like either has to leave something behind, or he just has to sit here and like guard his coins and not go anywhere. So, if you want to fight, being where you are right now, like you always have free will, right? Like you can run away, but I think the hard thing is that like that energy is going to go with you, right? That like in this stillness, quiet, like in this acceptance of being where you are, like there's a lesson that will come out of this. So if you choose to try to run away from it, that lesson's going to come up again. If you choose to just be with where you are, then you can complete that lesson and the clarity is going to come for the next steps. Okay, so that's embrace. So let me put this maybe here. So then let's look at what you're being encouraged to let go of. Oh, I got these upside down. What am I doing? Okay, so you're encouraged to let go of. And then what happens if you do let go? What happens if you don't let go? Okay, so we've got the Seven of Cups card. Seven of Cups is a card of having lots of options and needing to make a choice. I feel like the energy of this card is it's a lot of confusion and it's a lot of fear around making the wrong choice, because in the traditional tarot we have someone that's like looking at all seven cups and they're kind of like studying it really hard. Like they're very focused. They're trying to examine every single cup because they feel a lot of pressure to make the right decision, or there's just too many options and they're not sure what to do. At the end of the day, Seven of Cups, like there's not a bad decision. There's not a wrong decision. Like the energy of Seven of Cups is that you need to make a decision. The energy of the Seven of Cups is not what is the right decision. Like this is not a pop quiz, right? Like you don't get scored on this. Like it's just an offering of like, okay, here's all these things. Which one would you like? And it's like, I don't know. Which one do I like? And it's like, well, that you have to, you know what you like. And it's like, do I? It's like, okay, now we're getting into the confusion. Like you can't make a wrong choice. So the thing you're being invited to let go of is putting so much pressure on yourself around either a decision or how you approach decisions, that each choice we make leads us to experiences, and that helps us like learn things, that builds our knowledge, like it leads us to where we need to go. And it almost feels like that pressure around like making the wrong decision is kind of tied up in a little bit of control, just like this, this card of being trapped. Like when we feel like we're trapped, we feel like we don't have any control over things. And sometimes like when control is the most important thing, we'll just react so that we can have control of the situation, but it might not be the best thing to do, right? That, like that sometimes control looks like safety. And it kind of like focusing on control over like what is the best thing for you to do, or even like trusting the universe. Like it feels like this kind of survival thing, you know, that like I can't trust anybody. It's not safe to trust anybody. I have to control everything, and that's how I stay safe. So I feel like if that resonates, it's going to make sense. And if it doesn't resonate, it's not going to make sense. But yeah, the thing you're being encouraged to let go of is putting so much pressure on yourself around the choices that you make, or around one specific choice. So that could have to do with this. If you choose to let go of being so hard on yourself around these decisions, this Ace of Pentacles, like a new beginning is going to come in. Like it says, when life hands you a gold coin, you know it's time to indulge and savor the sweetness. So like the Ace of Pentacles, like God, Source, Spirit, Universe is offering you something. Like aces are a time of new beginnings, like new opportunities, new resources, new something, you know, like and it's almost like until you can make a choice, you can't receive this, right? So it's like, it's almost like until you can pick one of these cups, you can't have what's in the cup. And so whatever choice you make, you're going to get something. There's no bad choice, right? Like there's something in every cup. Like none of them are empty. Like even the traditional tarot, like has like, one of them has like a snake in it. The other one has like a dragon. So like we don't have that there. We have all these good choices. So it's like, if you can let the pressure off yourself and choose something, then the universe is like, okay, now I can give you the thing. Like now you're ready to receive because you've made a choice. If you choose not to let go of putting all that pressure on yourself around decision making, then we have this Nine of Swords, which follows this Eight of Swords. And this card is, yeah, I call it the nightmare card. It's this card of like anxiety, overthinking, worrying, sleepless nights. Like the more pressure you put on yourself around having to make the perfect decision, like the more miserable you're going to make yourself. If you can let go of that pressure you put on yourself about making the perfect decision and just choose something, like you're going to get something positive. Like there is no wrong choice. I don't know how else to say it. So these are the two. This is the, you know, thing you're being encouraged to embrace, which is just accepting where you are, you know, and then this is the thing that you're being encouraged to let go of, which is all that pressure on yourself about making decisions. So, I mean, can you see that? Yeah. Okay. Good job, self. Okay. So then let's look at your oracle card. This is a Kali Ma card. And we have, oh, here's the image. And the message is Mantra Shakti. Do not allow negative thought or speech to undermine your inner spiritual connection. Sorry. Claim your voice and your power to express yourself from your heart. Though it may not yet be visible in the physical world, a new order is generating within the soul, and in time it shall manifest in a transformation that heals your inner world and improves your physical life circumstances too. A new order is generating a new beginning. Yeah. I feel like this just yep. I feel like this is just kind of confirming that, you know, you don't have to hang on to the negative stuff. That like it's okay to be uncomfortable with where you are and just understand that where you are is where you need to be, and trusting that when it's time to move, you will get a very clear message that it's time to go. And that like it's safe for you to give yourself permission to not be perfect, to not have to make the perfect decisions all the time. This is a little gnat. And that whatever choice you make, something positive will come out of it. Whatever thing you choose, you will receive something. It might be chocolate. You might get some, it might be sushi, you know, it might be some free lipsticks. I don't know what you're into. But there's no bad choice, and whatever you choose, you will receive something. So that's, you know, there's no, there's no fake prize or anything like that. Like, whatever you choose, it'll be fine. Whatever, like, there's no bad choice. I don't know why I keep saying that. I guess I feel like I need to keep saying that. But yeah, group number 4, this has been your reading on what to embrace and what to let go. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that it was helpful for you. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for letting me read your cards. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see you next time. Bye.